Okay, so I studied over 120 client LinkedIn posts and emails over this last quarter. All in all, because I was trying to figure out basically which posts or specifically which campaigns were dangerous, right? AKA the ones that got sales versus the ones that got nothing. So it turns out there was 4 content pillars to consider that made every outlier, or the ones that got more leads, more engagement, more sales and stuff, had in common, right? So today we'll go through these 4 to ensure your content is pretty dangerous, because there's nothing more than putting in all this time, all this energy to run a campaign and watch it flop or nothing happen, right? So I want to avoid that and give you those pillars. Plus, I'll give you examples and a real swipe file of this campaign that I ran for myself that basically generated just over 30K in sales. If I can get this to focus, otherwise I can leave that down below. There you go. Hopefully you can see it there. So on that note, what I want to do is share how we create content that is dangerous. So I break it down into 4 P's because these are the 4 P's that bring everything to light. So in my world, what I like doing is leading with what's called a hand raiser. So basically raising our hand to say, hey, something is going on. I'm about to do something. I'm thinking of doing something. You know, I'm always thinking email. So I'm thinking of doing this campaign where so-and-so outcome happens. Just hit reply with do it or yes or something like that to get an indication of whether this is good or not. So in this case, the hand raiser not only pre-sales, right? It also warms up and gives you an indication of whether this thing is good or bad. So if you are about to, launch something and you don't get your do-its or your yeses, then you know you got to tweak something. So the next thing you want to do is, as humans, we buy when there's pain, when there's a problem, right? So the first email you want to do is you want to talk about a problem in the market. So depending on what you're doing and who you're serving, there is always a problem, right? So in my world as a marketer to coaches and consultants, one of the big problems that people face is they can't get leads, right? Oh, I need more clients, or I'm spending too much energy in this thing, or whatever. So I can then lead with a problem email, right? And then on the bottom of that email, make sure it's dangerous, pitch whatever it is, get them to hit reply or buy my workshop or digital product or whatever it is. So problem emails are you understanding your avatar and knowing what makes them sad. And once you've understood that, then you can write that first, or rather to kick off the campaign. The second one that you want to do is lead with a proof email. Now, think of these as case studies. In my world, they usually have $ attached, but they could have metrics. If you're a fitness coach, for example, it could be losing weight or gaining muscle. It could be getting married or preventing divorce or whatever it is in your world. That's where you basically have somebody who was sad in the previous one, and then by the end of it was happy. There was some sort of specific outcome. I like to think of these as case studies with breakdowns. So first you did this thing, then you did this other thing, then you did this third thing. So, average Joe or Jenny reading it, I say average with caution here. Basically, I'm just trying to paint the picture that if somebody else can do it, you can see yourself in that proof email. So I love treating them as breakdowns. Then the third type of email that ensures that the content is dangerous is a philosophy email, right? And this to me is pretty much my why. The reason I stand and the reason I do what I do in this campaign. So in this case, if we take this problem email that we did, I can't get leads and I'm stuck on calls and this and that. My philosophy is always, you can get them with one post and one email a day, and you don't need sales calls if you have Google Docs. So let's say in this campaign, the first thing we do is create a Google Doc offer that does the selling for you, so you don't need to spend time on calls. You can go and, learn a new hobby, spend time with your kids, whatever that may be. That is what you're doing in the philosophy email. And then the fourth one is the plan. I like this because it's a step-by-step plan that shows the reader, shows the prospect in that campaign exactly what it is they're getting, right? So for me, I break it down into first we're going to do this, next we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. So in a plan, let's say we're going to get you leads in this campaign example. The first thing we're going to do is get you a Google Doc. The next thing we're going to do is deploy your content with your hand raisers and your bottom of funnel to get people to come to you inbound. And the third thing we're going to do is we're going to handle those clients. We're going to close and ascend them into bigger tiers, just as an example. So when somebody hears that first, next, then, it's like we're wired to go, oh, rule of three, great. And they start to see themselves in it. So these are the core 4 emails, right? If I doodle these out, that help you or the reader see themselves in whatever it is they're doing. And if we remember, we started with a hand raiser over here. We want to end with doors closing. So in my world, whatever it is I am doing, I always apply true scarcity and true urgency, in the sense that if this is a cohort, in the example you're going to see that I attached the doc below, it was starting in November, right? I think it was the 7th of November or whatever. If that is the deadline, then I can't take more people because we're getting started. So what I like to do is have emails that go 72 hours, 48 hours, and 24 hours. And you're just simply being really blunt about it and going, the doors are closing, hit reply. So if you are able to open up a campaign with a hand raiser, followed by your problem email, your proof email, and your philosophy email, then a plan, and then have doors closing in 72, 48, and 24, that's all you really need to create content that is dangerous in the form of a campaign. And because I've thought about this over and over and over again, what I did was, I created a little bot that basically checks if your content is dangerous. So I'm not having any luck here with the focus of the camera today. That's okay. If you click down below, I've basically added a GPT that helps you, where you put in your content and it tells you if it's dangerous or not. So whenever you're writing, you make sure that it works really well. So hopefully, just to recap, we've understood the hand raiser, the 4 Ps, and then the doors closing, and how it is that we are going to write campaigns in the future. So if you're selling something that's a low ticket or high ticket, you can rotate over in a week's worth, right? So if we have the hand raiser on day 1, which is a Monday, the other 4 Ps up until Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then we can have doors closing on Saturday and Sunday, and maybe Monday, and then roll that through over and over again. So hopefully you learned something and that was beneficial. Have fun with the GPT and, hit subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.